I start doing this, you do that.
See? Everybody becomes 8 years old all over again.
Yeah, so thank you for paying attention.
And when I do this, you cower in fear because you know that I will take over the world.
Now, I'll tell you what, though, you know what's really the sweetest thing, you guys, honest to goodness, is that, you know, we all have a healthy perspective on what we do and how lucky we are to do it. And we know that we're not, you know, saving the world or, you know, curing cancer or anything, but at the end of the day, it's so nice to hear, you know, have people that you've never met before come up and say, hey, you really made me happy. And I just can't tell you how much that means to all of us, so we're really grateful to you.
And can I just say that what Braden said about taking over the world is so full of shit.
You know what's going to happen?
Suck it, Pinky.
People love that. Mo and I were, I don't know if you guys heard, but Mo and I, you guys, some of you know the Nerdist podcast. Chris Hardwick's Nerdist.
Go download episode 187 as soon as you get back to your hotel room.
Yeah, it's really funny. And Mo,
It's about porn.
what people love is there's something about it.
It's us, only it's us talking the way we talk to each other, like, you know, in the parking lot. And, you know, we're very real. Let's just put it that way.
And it's kind of like the outtakes. People ask me about outtakes. Dudes, ladies and gentlemen, all your dudes who do that, I would pay money for the outtakes. So, you know, hearing Yakko say, "I'll kiss my ass." It's quite enjoyable. Thank you very much. Do you have a question that you'd like to share?
Hello, Dad.
For those that don't know, which came first, the character or the voice, and how did you decide on the voice for each of your characters?
Well, the character, when you say, you're talking about the design?
Like the character design.
Oh yeah, that always comes first.
With this show, definitely they have designed the characters first. Steven Spielberg and his team of artists on Animaniacs definitely have everybody sketched, drawn, they knew all their expressions. I mean, the model sheets were intricate.
They probably worked on it for a year before we got it.
Before we even saw it.
With crayons.
Did I get these shown in color?
Well, in my case, what happened was I auditioned. I went to my agency and they had all these characters for this new show, and I heard the name Steven Spielman. Is it Spielman, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I knew this would probably be a good job, and so I read for a few characters, and the Wacko voice originally was just this crazy cartoony voice, but when I went in to for my callback with Andrea Romano, who's just one of the greatest animation directors in the whole wide world, you know, she said, "I know you do impressions. What about if you did Wacko as Elvis?" For real. So I was in there going, "Hey man, hello nurse. What's going on, nurse? How you doing?" You know, whatever the hell it was. Fabu, man. And then she said, "Well, you know, you do the Beatles, you know, why don't you do it as one of the Beatles?" And I think it started really doing it like John, you know, when that's where it began. Well, the thing is that then, so somebody said they came Ringo for like half an hour, it was Ringo. And then what was weird about it is they showed me this picture of Wacko, and I saw that he was very small, you see. And I knew that he couldn't have this big low voice, and he was just this
Tiny little guy, so I think it's a sort of made like a hybrid and pitched him up, and he became sort of all four of the Beatles at the same time if he were a midget.
As I recall, it was also a very long audition process because we all knew that since they had done all this work on Tiny Toons, and as Mo said, sort of perfected the formula, yeah, that they were really going to swing for the fences on Animaniacs. And so I remember talking to Tress MacNeille virtually every night for like 6 weeks. You know, we just didn't hear anything for a week, then we'd go back and read, and then hear anything else, and Tress would call in tears, and I'm like, "What are you crying about? You're a genius, you know, you get all the work you want." But we knew that it was a very special thing, and I have to say, from the beginning of the whole operation to here we are, almost, matter of fact, it premiered 19 years ago this fall. We started recording them 20 years ago.
Wow.
March of 1992 is when we all got the job. So these are 20 years old, and you know, and here a lot of you were very young, or even not even born in some cases when that was on. And I think it's a testament to not only just the show itself, but to the sort of foresight that the people had to create it, because their inspirations were the old Warner Brothers stuff, the Jay Ward stuff, the Rocky and Bullwinkle, and all of those things that did not condescend to the audience. They were designed to be appealing to kids, you know, when Yakko drops the anvil on Baloney's head, and then pop cultural references, political references that made sense to adults.
Not to mention the Marx Brothers influence.
Absolutely.
Very important to Tom Ruger. He said, and that was my mistake because I read I read for your character doing a spot on Groucho Marx.
Oh, yeah.
Totally wrong for it, yeah. I read for everything and booked nothing except.
Yes, my friend.
There you go. But I was, you know, that one was like, you talk about whether the design came first. I looked at that design and I went, how, it's got to be Orson Welles.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And they did not have Orson Welles in mind. He was modeled on a writer named Tom Minton. And if you look at it, if you look up Tom Minton on Facebook, you'll see, you'll look and go, oh, that's the brain. When I saw Wells, I did Wells, and apparently they cast me on the spot.
Oh yeah, no. As a matter of fact, when I read for Pinky, they had already told me that Maurice was going to be doing the brain, and it made perfect sense because Mo, for years, has been doing his, you know, we know remote farm in Lancashire where Mrs. Buckley lives,
The famous Orson Welles outtake tape. I cut my teeth on that.
Can we have a small taste of that, Mr. Wells?
Do a little of it, Mr. Wells.
We know a remote farm in Lincolnshire where Mrs. Buckley lives. Every July, peas grow there.
Do you really mean that? You know, it's still about half second late.
Don't you think you really want to say July over the snow? Isn't that the fun of it?
Well, if you could make it almost when that job disappears, I think it'd be fun.
I think it's so nice that you see the snow-covered field and say every July peas grow. Get me a jury and show me how you can say in July and I'll go down on you. That's just stupid.
Well, you know, and I would just direct that out. Sick of it, and I actually thought when I saw Brain, I thought, oh well, they take my Orson Welles. They did this part for me, I guess. You know, I mean, I actually thought not outright, but I thought, could they really design that?
Well, I'm telling you now,
do something for Maurice's Orson Welles voice so that he'll shut the hell up. But
also, you know, and
it was like nobody thought of it. So
that's why he was a genius. But in the sort of pantheon of, can you see us? Hi, sweeties. Nice to see you over there. You're so cute. I just love this kid. In the sort of great pantheon of show business, though, you know, there are these iconic roles played by iconic actors, and to me, irrespective of whether they're live action or animated, it doesn't matter. I mean, Jack Nicholson, you know, is R.P. McMurphy in Cuckoo's Nest. I mean, there's no, or Jay Giddings in Chinatown, right? And I can't, honestly, after years and years and years later, you hear Maurice do the Brain, and you cannot think of anybody else that would be, you know, more perfect. And he's got an ego. Giant ego.
What was the inspiration for Pinky as far as the voice? And was Pinky always British?
The inspiration was a check.
I have to say though that by the end of the day one, they thought they already had Pinky.
Right.
They thought they had a Pinky. Rob had not come in for his auditions yet. And at the end of the day, they were pretty sure that Pinky was going to be TV's Gomez from the Addams Family, John Astin.
How about that?
He was like first choice until you walked in, and they cast you on the spot, literally.
Yeah, John Astin, with whom Maurice and I have worked. We both did Tasmania together.
Yeah, and John had the great idea of playing the villain character, Bull,
Bull Gator, right?
Bull Gator, yeah, Bull Gator, who's this, you know, sort of game-hunting alligator who's trying to bag Taz, as a really cheerful guy. I mean, he's a bad guy, but he went completely against type and played him completely upbeat.
Right.
Come along, Axel, it's time to bag that Tasmanian devil.
And then I would say, all right, Bull, I'm going to do what I can, but he's going to bite me.
You're a pip, Axel, you know.
God.
And he brought that cheerfulness to his Pinky read, and they thought that might balance out nicely, but you were perfect.
Well, and to answer your question, Dan, I, for some reason, and I don't know why, it's probably because my heroes as a kid were the Pythons and the Goons and Peter Sellers and Spike Milligan and, you know, Ola's
Bunts.
Peter Cook, what is really about Peter Cook and Dudley Moore and all those guys. So, when I saw Pinky, I thought, well, he looks really stupid. I got that down. And then I noticed he had this sort of overbite. And I don't know what inspired me to try to do something British, but that is what I did initially.
And I just know that he might have a difficult time pronouncing his R's properly because he had a severe maxillar occlusion. It means butt teeth is what it means.
And initially, like a lot of characters, you start off, it was more stupid, like, hey, you got a brain? Oh, the blue hours are more or less.
That's right, the voice did morph a little bit as we got about 6 episodes in. I think you found the pinky.
Yeah, and they said they liked it a little higher and a little, you know, sort of...
What? No!